What's up, people? This video is going to be in English because I'm going to be talking to you guys about a current situation that's going on in LA. As you guys already know, the raids, the ICE raids are going on over here in Texas as well. But more importantly, the whole issue, you guys have seen me posting on it in my stories about this black versus brown bullshit, and I've had some pretty interesting conversations with a lot of you guys in my DMs, and I still am answering people, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of context as to what I think about the situation. First of all, I definitely think it's horrible what's going on. And it's not, it has me worried for a lot of reasons. Those who are close to me know as to why exactly I am extremely worried. And I definitely, support the Mexican community. My support goes out to them. I'm gonna try to see if I can, get out there and, and support physically. I'm not sure where one's going on. Supposedly there's one going on Sunday here where I'm at. So we'll see what's up with that. But I know that there's this negative, discourse from a lot from the black community, and it's caused this black versus brown bullshit again. Honestly, look, this is what I've got, because I get shit from both sides. I get shit from black people for, supporting the Mexican cause, and I get shit from Mexican people, well, just for being black. So, I lose either way, but I don't give a fuck. You know me. So I understand, like I said in my posts and stories, I understand that, a lot of black folks are hurt because of the election, and they feel like for one reason or another, they were just, they were ignored. And I understand that, because I was pissed off during the elections as well. The Latino vote was not as good as it should have been. And keyword Latino, I'm not squaring out Mexicans, a Latino, the Latino vote wasn't good. And, elections, like I said in the past, have consequences, and we're going through that right now. And I know that there have been a lot of black folks lashing out online saying, basically, I told you so. I'm not going to go protest because we told you guys this. We voted in November and you guys didn't. Whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop. And I understand the place of hurt that's coming from. But at the same time, I don't think that it's cool to be going about online saying that in a sense of a I told you so type of thing. I do know that there's black people that don't support there's a lot of black people that don't support the ICE raids, that think it's horrible. And some black folks that don't give a fuck, honestly. I'm gonna be real. And it's caused this chain reaction of anti-black and anti-Latino or Mexican rhetoric that has reignited the black versus brown bullshit battle, as you guys have heard me call it before. And personally, I will say, for reasons that, like I've said before, this really impacts my life. And to share a little bit about my personal life, I'm not gonna make this about myself, but I had a conversation, because there's a Mexican dude that responded to me who was like, yeah, I was been discriminated against by black folks all my life, whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop. And I said, I believe it, I believe it, because there is a xenophobic sentiment in the black community towards Mexican folks. I can admit that. There's no problem in me admitting that. There's an issue that we suffer with, yes. And I think a lot of that comes from the discrimination that some black folks feel towards the Mexican community. It's a long history of just bullshit, basically. And it goes back to long before we were ever born. But, I responded like, I have horrific stories as well. When I was a kid, when I was 11, I lived in San Isidro. I was jumped by Mexican cholos. I was 11 years old. I was jumped like I was a grown-ass man by grown-ass men. I was just carrying Pokemon cards, walking home from from a sleepover at my friend's house, and I got jumped. I got jumped. You know, I used to get called the N-word all the time in school. You know, I was told to leave a party because I was black, literally, by my friend's parents. You know, I was leaving from a club in TJ, and I was called, you know, the Yate, basically, like 10 cars of Mexicans screaming that. It was so bad that my friend told me he had to apologize. And I didn't do anything. I did not do absolutely nothing. And there's worse stories that are rather personal and I'm not going to talk about. But, you know, I could take that and generalize an entire culture, or I could have taken that. But at the same time, you know, and I still struggle with it today. You guys have seen me. You guys have seen the post I've made. Sometimes I get angry and I just it pisses me off. It's something that I struggle with today. And I thank you guys for forgiving me on that, like for seeing me through that. But I don't, you know, I don't generalize an entire culture. Why? Because, you know, that time that I was jumped, I went home, I was crying. I was like, oh shit, you know, I just got jumped. Like I was a little kid, you know? And my friend's brother, which is a cholo, saw that and he knew the motherfuckers that did it. And he went and he put those motherfuckers in check and brought all my shit back, you know, and apologized, you know. My other, well, I don't really talk to him now much these days, but friend's father looked out for me, Mexican guy. You know, he used to bring me to TJ all the time with him. You know, we're not on speaking terms anymore, but because of some bullshit. But you know, he looked out for me. He knew the racism that I went through, and so he will always defend me. Always defend me. You know, even against his own family that would come at me. You know, he would defend me because he knew the good kid I was. You know, my stepfather. You know, or I consider him like a stepfather. Well, he was basically. They're separated now, but yeah. Well, they're not really, but you know, they looked out for me. He was there for me more than my own dad. My dad was into some bullshit, you know, and thanks to him and his family, I am the man who I am today, you know. So you could look at the negative in each side, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like black folks are saints and shit like that. No, I'm not. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to tell you that I could sit here and use that negativity or remember all the good, you know, on each side, you know, and I only ask that is reciprocated. There you go. Reciprocated. I didn't know how to fucking say that word. Whatever. You know what I mean? I can only ask that that's given back, you know? So you guys are going to see a lot of hateful videos. There's a lot of influencers that are going online sharing the negative, sharing ignorance, sharing people that are going about saying, you know, oh, don't support Mexicans, whoop-de-whoop, this, that, and the third. I've seen Mexicans sharing videos, you know, trashing black folks, or, you know, I saw a video where a Mexican protester was calling a black dude the N-word. You know, I could sit here and generalize an entire movement based off of that, but I don't, because there's a lot of great Mexican folks. You guys, look, you guys all follow me. This is the reason, you know, you guys helped me become the man I am today. You guys, my upbringing, you know, in San Isidro, although it was tough at times, you know, in Chula Vista, Imperial Beach, you know, Tijuana, you know, those people helped me become the man I am today. There's a lot of great people on each side. There's always ignorance on, you know, every side, you know, there's a lot of ignorance, you know, and we got to see through that. Negativity is more likely to make it to social media, to go viral, than positivity. Then, you know, because there's a lot of positive videos I've seen that don't get anywhere near enough traction that it should, you know. And then you have the bot farm, you know, the bot farms. You got the white folks hiding behind fake accounts, you know, pretending to be Latino or black or whatever. You know, it is what it is, bro. So, simply put, there's bad people in every culture, in every race. And there's racist people, unfortunately, as well. You know, there's xenophobia against the Mexican culture and black culture. Yes, there is. I'll sit here and admit that. Yes. Is there racism in the Mexican community towards black folks? Yes, there is. And you guys are pretty fucking aware of that. You know, like you guys, if you follow me, you should definitely be aware of that shit because you've probably seen bunches of racist comments on my shit. But simply put, people, we need to rise above the hate. And yeah, all I can ask you guys is just to see through the negativity. Don't feed into it. I've fed into it sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. You guys have seen me feed into it sometimes because it's just so tiring. It's a tiring battle, bro. Like, it is. But, you know, you gotta rise above it. And hey, man, it is what it is. My support 100% to the Latino community. Continue doing what I'm doing. Get the word out on what's needed to be, shared. Use my platforms to spread word of anything, and appear where I can appear. And I'm gonna try to do some research and see what I can do. But my heart definitely goes out to the Mexican community and what's going on. It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. And it's impacted me in ways that you guys don't even know. So let's just, in this time, please, I mean, if you're black watching this, if you're Mexican watching this, just a little bit of compassion goes a long way. I understand that we feel there's been fucked up relationships between both, but, we need to just fucking put that on the back burner for now. It is what it is. And just because you see somebody posting something trying to speak for black people does not mean they represent all black people. So let's get that straight, people. Don't sit here and try to, they represent that person. They represent themselves, not everybody. So, hey, it is what it is, people. If you ever want to talk, feel free to send a message. I'm trying to get to all of them, people. Trying to get to all of them. It's tough. I have to work, and this week has been crazy. They've been throwing projects at me like crazy, and it's been tough. I've been trying to, I haven't been sleeping good either. So I'm gonna try to get to that. But it's a discussion that needs to be made. And if I could use my platforms to try to ease those tensions, although it's, as small as they are, it's worth it, and if it bothers you, I don't give a fuck. So, it is what it is, Like I said, I'm not sitting here and denying that black people, pretending like black people are all saints and that we can do no wrong and whoop de whoop. No, yes, there's a lot of xenophobia in the black community towards Mexicans. Of course there is. Of course there is. Just like I said, there's a lot of racism in the Mexican community. I'm a product of that. You guys see people commenting on my page all the time. If I make fun of their teams, they come at me about my color and all sorts of stereotypes and racism. Unfortunately, that's just life, You have a lot of ignorance in both communities, but there's like a great person once told me there are more good people than bad people. So, and that person knows who they are. So, yeah, stay strong, y'all. Let's keep the good fight going. And it is what it is. Yeah. Feel free to comment below. If you come at me in a hostile way, fuck it. It is what it is. Talk it out. Just express yourself. I guess I have to see that. I have to see and work with that.